Okay, that's great. I think one or two is also with me. Thank you guys. Just give me 10 more seconds. Hello guys. Sorry. We are back again. So we are live on Facebook as well. So yeah. Okay. So we are live on Facebook as well. Everything is fine. That's great. Okay, guys. I welcome all of you to this interactive and important session on mastering your presentation with Miss Kriti Mehta, who is a personality development coach, and with her 5+ year of experience as a campus to corporate trainer, she's today going to help you out with the perfect presentation. So I think she has already joined in, or like, um, so let me make her the co-host and let's start with the session. Over to you, ma'am. I think you can now. Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, I have made you the co-host. You can start with the session.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, Ayush, for this wonderful introduction. Just give me a minute. Let me share my screen so that all of you would be able to see them. Then we can formally start with the session. Just give me a moment, everyone.
Guys, for any queries, please type in the chat box. Like, if man will allow you, definitely, then you will be able to unmute yourself and like, speak up. Otherwise, feel free to use the chat box. So it would be better. Like,
I hope
yeah.
my screen is visible, right? Ayush, if you just can confirm the same.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Definitely. So, guys, it is visible. I hope like it is visible to all, right?
Yeah, just you can type yes in the chat box if you can see the screen so that we can start. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a wonderful audience we have. So a very good evening to each one of you who have joined us in today's session. Thank you so much for taking out time and for being here for this session. It's a wonderful Sunday evening and let's make it a bit more productive by learning the art of presentation. My name is Kirti Mehta, and I am a campus to corporate trainer where I train multiple students and corporate professionals how they can create their wonderful, impactful personality. In general, also, it's very important that how you speak, how you talk, how you carry yourself. You should have that kind of knowledge and that kind of alignment that when somebody is talking to you, they can immediately feel that what is the wonderful presentation that person is showcasing. So yes, in this session today, you are going to master tested and proven techniques of effective presentations. Before we begin, I want to know that from where my audience generally is. So type in from the place you people are. Let's get to know each other a bit, then we can start. Yes, quickly write down your city, your state, maybe from where you people have joined in today. Okay, so Rahul says he's from UK, Andhra Pradesh, Panchkula, Hyderabad, Himachal Pradesh, Rohtak. All right, so we have diversified audience today from different geographical regions. Wonderful, wonderful. Great. Absolutely great. Perfect. Now I just want to ask you that how you people are doing. I want you to reply your answer in the chat box again itself. How people are doing. Quickly type in your chat box, how everyone is doing. I'm going to share one wonderful technique, how you can reply to this answer. All right, so somebody says very well, somebody says bored from work from home, fine, okay, great, amazing, great, good, fine, okay. All right, so in general, when you meet somebody for the first time, or you meet somebody in general, the very basic question one can ask you is, how are you doing? And how generally we reply, we are doing good, we are doing fine, we are doing okay, right? So this is the most generalized reply you can say whenever somebody asks you this question. But if you want to create that magnificent personality, if you want to create that impact in the mind of other person, you have to get rid of this ordinary replies. Okay, so next time when somebody is going to ask you how you're doing, you have to reply, and you should reply with, I'm doing amazing, I'm doing wonderful, I'm doing awesome. If somebody comes and asks me how I'm doing, I generally reply with, I'm doing perfectly well, I'm at the top of the world. So by replying with such high energetic, powerful, positive words, you create that positive aura around you. And people definitely would like to talk to you. If you seem to be a very boring kind of personality, then people won't like to have a conversation with somebody who's very depressed, or somebody who's not interested in general. Okay. In today's session, we are going to talk about how you can be a master presentator, how you can take that limelight from the room and take that attention from the audience. Okay. When it comes to effective presentation, when it comes to public speaking, all that matters is how well you stay connected with your audience. Today, I am here to present this PPT, to present this topic. I am somebody who's going to make connection with my audience, although it's a virtual platform. But you have to create that connection, that engagement, which allow you to gain that credibility and trust factor from your audience, right? So it's very, very important that you focus on this thing. Now let's get quickly started. In this presentation, what you can expect towards the end, the master way to create wonderful presentations, and what are the techniques you can follow to deliver the everlasting impressive presentation, be it in your office, be it in your corporate culture, even if you are a student, it's going to help you out in a massive way. So stay tuned till the end, and I'm going to share one important piece of information. For that matter, you need to stay here with me till the end. And I can guarantee you that your host for the day not going to make you bored even for a second. Okay, so you just stay tuned and listen to all the information that I'm going to share with you all. Now, what you can see on your screen. Now we are going to understand why effective presentation is important. If you can see, on your right side, there is a dish called idli sambar. On your left side also, there is a same dish. Maybe the taste could be better on the left side, but the way it's been presented, it's something that you will pay more for the right side dish. Yes? So this is the impact of presentation. How you talk, how you speak, how you deliver. This is something that has to be perfect, has to be something which is very, very convincing when it comes to delivery. Right? You will agree to this statement. You must remember of your school, you must be, in picture frame of your school days, when there used to be teachers who are very good with their knowledge, but when it comes to delivering the same knowledge to the students, some did excellent job, and some, there was a lack of communication, there was a lack of engagement, due to which either we end up hating that subject, or either we end up feeling bored when we study that subject. So if you want that whatever you say, whatever you deliver creates that remark in front of the people, or creates that everlasting impression in the mind of audience, you need to work on the presentation. So this is one just simple example that why presentations are important, because this is something which will help you to get paid more. Even if you are working professional or you have to deliver a presentation to some of your clients or your delegates, the way you prepare, the way you put things, the way you put your ideas on screen, and the way you convince your audience, this is something which will help you, or which will the deciding factor. Either you're going to crack that deal or not, right? So in simple terms, presentation is very, very important, be it any domain, be it any sector. You just can't do it without having a great presentations, right? Even the social handles that we scroll, the page which has very good presentation, very good sorted content, we end up staying or glued to that particular page, and we listen up to or we watch the content just because the presentation is so effective. And especially in digital era that we are in the current time, it's very important, right? So now let's quickly understand what are the two things that you need to keep in your mind while preparing for the presentations. And not only for the presentation, in general also. What should be my goals and how should I achieve them? These are two questions which are very, very important in your general life as well. If you have the answer, if you're sorted with just these two equations in your life, you are done, right? If you know what are your goals and how you're going to achieve them, this is something that you need to know at a very, very basic level. So while creating the presentation, when you know about what topic you're going to talk, you should set that target. So this is what I want my audience to understand. For example, I'm here to make you understand how to give the presentation. So my goal is to make my audience understand how to create effective presentation and how to deliver effective presentation. I'm very clear about my goal. How I'm going to achieve them? By including relevant real life examples, by making things simplified and not complicating the things, right? As a humans, we want things to be simplified. We don't like complicated things, right? If you met somebody who's explaining you things with utmost details, you would immediately like that person, that wow, with such a simplicity you have explained this thing. On the other hand, if you have someone who's trying to complicate things, you will end up saying, I didn't made head or tail of what you have said. So this is something that we need to clear, very, very clear. Before creating your PPTs, your presentations, you should know what you are trying to achieve, what are your goals, and how you're going to achieve them. Okay. Now, afterwards, once you have identified what you're going to do, what you're going to achieve, now there comes four important P's in the presentation skills. Now, out of that, very first one is the plan. Prepare, practice, and present. There is nothing which I am telling you people for the first time, that you already know, that without planning, you are not going to succeed in your target. You're not going to achieve your goal. So planning is very, very important. Now, what are the things that comes under planning? When you're creating the presentation, for some, it is just like putting information in random order. Just put this graph on slide number 1, put this information on slide number 2, put that information on slide number 3, and so on. But planning starts from what you are going to talk about initially, how you're going to take your audience to the next level. Then from that level, how you're going to share that next piece of information. So it is like a synchronization. It's like a storytelling. Now, if I go back to the first slide, there was just simple picture, which clearly signified, which clearly made you understand why presentation is important. After that, I made you people understand that what are the two things you need to clear in your mind before starting the presentation. And now we are on slide number 3, where we have started discussing the roadmap while creating the presentation. So it's like a sync, step number 1, 2, 3, and so on. which gives the very first insight that our structure of the presentation should be crystal clear. Okay, the confusing structure will lead to the confusing mind of audience, and nobody likes confusing structure. Nobody likes to be confused. If you people are here listening to me, you want things to be simplified, you want things to be something which is easy to understand, which is easy to implement. So keeping that thing in mind, I'm going with the approach that how you should start, what are the things you should do at level 2, and so on. Okay, so rule number 1 is always plan your topic and your PPT in a way which has a storyline, which has a structure, which is clearly understandable. Okay, next is the preparation part. Now you have outlined the structure, you have outlined the complete plan. Now comes the preparation part. Look for some data points, look for some stats, look for some relevant images which will help you to deliver your plan more effectively. Because in a PPT, it's very important that you put visuals. We will discuss the same towards the end of the session, that why visuals are very important. So preparation, in your preparation part, you need to put everything in the practical manner. Planning starts at your mental level, where you know that how you're going to say things and what things you're going to include. In preparation, you're actually working and turning your thoughts into the practical medium. Now comes practice. Even the greatest of speakers don't go on stage without practicing. If you have seen a lot of TEDx speakers these days, if you are thinking that this is just a spontaneous performance, it's not. They have spent hours of time to prepare, to rehearse, and to practice the entire content. That is the reason their presentation comes out or turns out so beautiful, that it has remarkable and significant changes on audience, right? So it's very important to practice. And then at last comes the presentation. After practicing, you have to deliver the same. So these are 4 P's which you need to keep in mind while preparing for the presentation skills. Now, there are certain components that we call components of presentation or effective presentation skills. You need certain things, right? In the flow chart, you can easily see you have to set goals and objectives that we have already discussed in the slide number 1, that setting goals and objectives is very, very important. Then you have to look for manageable content points. If you're preparing your presentation, make sure whatever information you're putting on your slides, it should be clearly understandable and you should have command over those words. It should not be like you're just putting the information for the sake of writing it there and you have no understanding regarding the same. Okay, so it's very, very important that you write down the manageable content points. Then comes transitions. You must have observed or seen or added up various transitions that PPT allows us to add, but make it look very subtle, simple, yet professional. Okay, do not add some random transitions where one picture is coming up on the screen scrolling down and there is just trash of screen and then the other screen appears. Don't add such kind of transition. It clearly doesn't look professional. Okay, next thing is very, very important, capturing attention. How you capture the attention of the audience, that is the key. If you are somebody who's speaking and the entire audience is looking at you, listening to you, glued to you all the way from starting till the end, then you have succeeded to capture their attention. And trust me, it's very important and it's very difficult as well. Because if you are just sharing the piece of information which is written on the screen, you're just reading out the sentences from your screen, nobody is going to be so interested in your talk. In order to make your audience attentive, in order to catch their attention, it's very important that you add on examples, you add some stories, you add some hook sentences in your starting so that they should feel it's very important to listen up to you. For example, I said, in this session today, you're going to learn the tested and proven techniques, how to deliver effective presentations. So the ones who really interested, so the ones who really want to deliver effective presentation when they go next time to their office, to the school, to the college, to the workplace, anywhere. It's very, very important. And when they understand its worth, they will definitely listen to this, right? So at the first step, being a speaker, you should very, very clear what your audience is going to get after listening to you. If you don't make your points clear, your audience will stay in a confused state of mind, whether it's important for me or it's not important for me, right? Once you have captured your attention, you have captured your audience attention, it's very important that you are providing them some information which is worth listening. Suppose here on my screen, it's a flow chart. I could have started up effective presentation skills. So you need to understand goals, objective, you need to have manageable content points, you need to have transition, you need to summarize, conclude, you need to have a knowledge of tone, handling questions, body language, capturing attention, etc. This is one way of delivering it, which is not giving any extra knowledge to the audience. So they might not get interested to listen to you. But I have not used this approach. Rather, I'm explaining each point in detail and what should be the exact strategy as a speaker you should follow. Okay. Now comes the body language part, which is very, very important. I'm going to share a few body language techniques with you all, which you follow, you will succeed for sure, right? You must have seen some persons in your life, some individuals who generally sit with their hands crossed. I hope I am visible to you on your screen. There are people who generally sit with their hands closed. So by doing this, by sitting like this, what they're doing, they're making a cross in their body, right? If you are on stage, if you're in front of your audience, if you're delivering, and if you have a closed body language, it's considered to be the negative body language. It's considered to be a body language which is not likable, preferable at professional workplace. If you do so, then people can get this feeling from your side that you're not interested for any kind of conversation, you're not open for any kind of feedback, and you're not someone who's closed for the conversation, right? So you should never close your arms and your legs, whether you should use the open body language, where you use your hand movements, you use your hand gestures, you use your facial expressions to convey your idea, your thought, and your opinion. If you have seen the greatest speakers, if you have seen them doing presentations or delivering presentations on stage, you will observe that they have such a massive, effective body language, that they are so energetic that when they speak, they create impact on people. And we just stay glued to listen up to them. This kind of impact you people should make when you deliver your presentations. And it's very, very important to take care of your body language. If you are on stage and you're rubbing your head, you are rubbing your ears, your nose, it would clearly reflect you are not interested to talk. You're not interested to speak. Okay. So these are the few points you need to take care of. Body language is a vast topic. I can tell you so many ways to shake your hands. I can tell you so many ways to stand on stage. I can tell you different techniques where you can meet your boss, your senior, your colleague to create an impact. Because with our body language, we are communicating without using our words. And it's a research, it's a study which says when we communicate, our words just playing a role of 33%, and rest of the communication is being done by the non-verbal part, where how we use the eye contact, how we use the hand movements, how we are standing, how we make our shoulder position. So this is something relates with the body language. Even if someone out there is very good with English language, is very good with the confidence, still they are not able to create the impact. Somebody says I'm not audible. I just want to clarify if I'm clearly audible. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So I have a question that why to learn body language when we can have natural, comfortable body language? Yes, very correct. Learning body language, I am not telling you to shift from your comfort zone. But when your comfort zone says to lean like this on the couch and talk, this is not something which looks professional. So if I'm here delivering a presentation, I need to sit straight in order to showcase that professionalism and formal look. I can be comfortable in this kind of body posture if I am habitant to use that. Because leaning on the couch or on the chair is something we are habitual, we find it very, very uncomfortable to come out of that comfort zone. So you really need to work out and check if you are somebody who's so comfortable in that body language which is not creating any impact, or if you want that kind of body language which will make you stand out from the crowd. For that matter, you need to come out from your comfort zone. Okay, so if you are on stage, if you are not being in your correct posture, if you're not standing it with your correct hand movements, not using your hand gestures, it is not helping you to create that impact on your audience, right? So it's very important that you take care of these things. Coming back to the topic we are discussing, that is components of an effective presentation, body language is one of the important and crucial components. Then comes your tone and voice modulation, the best of the natural gifts that you already have. I'll just give you one example. Your tone sets the pitch, and this is something going to impact your audience. Even if I'm here attending this session through virtual platform, I could relax my tone and speak with very lethargic tone, but it's not going to excite my audience. So tone is something that is very, very crucial. Okay, if you feel that you are somebody who knows how to speak in English, who knows very well how to speak in Hindi, but you take a lot of pauses in between, you take a lot of crutch words and filler words. For example, I'm speaking, this is my topic. So such kind of filler words we need to avoid. For that matter, there is one beautiful technique I'm going to share right away with you people. That is art of taking pauses. When you know you can't speak continuously for longer period of time, try to take small pauses in between your sentences. It will help you to create your impact. It will help you to put more emphasis on certain words, to highlight those words, and it will give some time to the audience also to absorb that piece of information that you are sharing with them. So taking pauses is very important in between your speech. Even if I am speaking right now, if you can observe, if you can notice, I'm also taking short pauses in between. And at times, my tone goes high pitch. At times, my tone goes low pitch as well. This is something called voice modulation. If I continue to speak in a single tone which has no impact, it's not going to excite my audience. So did you see? This is the one sentence I spoke without any modulation, and how boring it felt. So if we are somebody who's struggling, that audience does not get excited or does not listen or does not pay attention when I speak, you need to learn the art of voice modulation, the pause, and how you can modify your tone. It will again come with practice. It's not something which is miraculous, which is going to happen overnight. You need to practice to get this kind of voice modulation in your natural way of speaking. Okay. Afterwards, when I said that you need to plan your presentations, What are the things you need to take care of specifically? Who is going to be your audience? Why are they there? What is your goal? How long your presentation would be, and where it's going to take place. Now, why these are so important things? I know that in my session today, there would be working professional, there's going to be student, there's going to be somebody who's already working, right? So I know I had a bleak fair idea of my audience. Now, why they are there? They are here in my session to learn the art of presentation. So I will prepare myself accordingly. If you know that your audience is going to be somebody from school students, somebody from the workplace, somebody who is already a professional, you will create your content accordingly. You cannot deliver the same content to a school student and to the working professional, because there is a difference between the understanding of your audience. So one thing that you really need to make sure, you have to know who's going to be there as your audience. If you're going to deliver a presentation in your workplace, you should know either they are board of directors or they're just your colleagues or the group of your seniors who are going to attend, right? Because as a student, if you are preparing your presentation and only your classmates are going to be there, you will keep the level of your presentation according to them, and all the subject teachers, your principal and the higher authorities are going to be there in your presentation. You will add some extra information so that your presentation should be valuable to each group of audience. Okay, and also you should know how long it's going to be take, because if you prepare your presentation, you spend a lot of time on one single slide, it may possible that you don't have enough time to speak for the rest of the slides. So it's very important that you bifurcate the entire content, and you should know for how long you're going to speak for a particular slide, how many minutes you're going to devote to one particular topic. It's very, very important, right? Now, where it's going to take place, if there is something called physical auditorium, hall, conference room, anywhere, you should reach at least the place before 15-20 minutes so that you can get comfortable with the place, you can check all the technicalities, and you can absorb the vibe of that place. It's very, very important. Here the presentations are happening on the virtual platform, it won't hardly create any difference, but still, if you are new to this platform, to the system, then you should check all the technical part so that you don't commit any technical glitch or any technical mistake out there. Okay, so this is very, very important aspect that you need to take care of. Now in the presentation part, it's very, very important to make a strong start. Starting is something which is going to glue the audience. If your starting is solid, powerful, your audience will start having the feeling that yes, I'm going to learn something productive from this presentation, right? So make a strong start. Now, how can you start strong? You can start with a story. You can start with any quotation. You can start with any solid information, which is statistical data, or you can start with a question. So these are various ways to start your presentation, but don't just start mentioning your topic and immediately going for your presentation. In my case, when I started with a picture representation. I started with giving your mind an idea that why presentation is important. So thought-provoking questions are very important when it comes to presentation and public speaking. And you have initial few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, to engage your audience, right? You have to show your passion through your movements and gestures. If there is some speaker who's so lethargic, who's just standing idle and just speaking, you would see there is no passion in that person. He's speaking like he's boring all of us. He's making us feel so bored. So you don't want your audience to have such kind of thoughts about you. To avoid that kind of thought process, you need to be active, right? You need to show that enthusiasm from your movements, from your gestures, make eye contact with them, right? Suppose we are here on the virtual platform. Now you will ask me, there could be a question, how to maintain the eye contact and why it is important on virtual platforms. Just note, just observe right there. If I continue to look here and there and continue to speak, would you be able to engage? Would you be able to relate to what I'm speaking? Because there is no eye contact. I'm looking here and there randomly. So this is what happens. But if I straight look in the eyes of the camera, it would be like I'm talking to you. I'm talking to each one of you. So this is the importance of your eye contact, right? And don't forget to smile, because smile is something which is very, very powerful and contagious. If you maintain that humorous part in your presentation, if you maintain that nice, gentle smile on your face, it's very, very important and going to work in your favor all the time. I'm not saying that you should laugh in between your presentation, but yes, at least a nice, gentle smile will always help, so that your audience can feel you're not under stress. You are somebody who's confident. At the same time, you are creating that connection and engagement with them. So it's very important, right? Captivating your audience. Again, the hook step. Okay, without captivating, you can't go ahead. When there is nobody to listen to you, there is no point of delivering anything. Okay, now what are the traits of a good speaker? If you want to be a great, wonderful, remarkable speaker, then what are the traits, what are the characteristics, what are the qualities you need to have in yourself? Open with impact. When you start to speak, you start speaking in a way that this is the only thing you're passionate about. Stay focused. Don't divert from the main track. If I am here to tell you people about presentation skills, I will stick to it. I will give you every relevant example which help you to understand how to be efficient in presentation skills. Be charismatic. Don't be a boring person on stage. Engage with the audience. Empathize with them, right? Show the solution. If I come here and talk about presentation skills are so difficult, it's very difficult. What I'm doing, I'm just highlighting the problematic part. But here, if I give you the solution, if I give you the way out, how you can develop the skills, how you can master the skills, this is something audience wants. You people don't want to listen the questions. You people don't want to listen the challenges that you already know. You are here to know about the solution. That yes, I know I'm not good at presentation, then what can I do? So this is something that you need to do in your presentation. Don't talk about the problems only. Talk about the solution part. Suppose you are somebody working at MNC. In your presentation, if you say, we have low budgets, we have this, we have, kind of a downfall in the market, but you're not giving any solution, people will not be interested to listen to you, especially the management. So you need to talk about the solution. You need to talk about that what could be done, right? Make it memorable. People might forget what you spoke, what you mentioned, what was the different style of speaking, but they will never forget how you made them feel, right? So you have to make them feel like this is the best session they are attending. And how you can make them feel likewise? Show them what value your content is providing. Show them what kind of benefits they are getting after attending their session. Emphasize on benefits. And when you are closing your presentation, when you are coming towards an end, always close with an impact. Don't just close it or end it abruptly. Okay. Now, what are the signs of a boring presentation? Here, of course, I can't see all of you, but things would have been completely different if I would have been in person meeting all of you. Then how to identify that your audience is getting bored? Now we're going to talk about certain things which you can notice from your audience, that now you're going to change the way you are speaking. So first reason could be you fail to motivate the audience. You are just talking about the problems, you're just talking about what are the problematic areas, but you're not someone who's talking about the solutions. You're not someone who's confident itself. And if our audience feels that the speaker is not confident, what they can teach us, they will not clearly listen up to you. So it's very important to showcase how you're motivating them. Don't put confusing structure in your slides. If your slides have confusing structure, it would again make your presentations ineffective. Excessive details. If you can observe in my slides, anything I haven't put anything which is overloaded with the information. There are just few sentences on my slides, one relevant picture, and that's it. I have seen presentations, I've seen people delivering presentation with lot of information on single slide, and they're just reading the same sentences from the slide. So this is not something audience wants. This is not something your classmates or your college mates or your colleagues wants to listen, because they can already see everything written on the screen already, right? So you have to write less content, but focus on delivering more, okay? And design your slides effectively. As I said, there's a question somebody asked, how to start with an impact. What is the meaning of starting with an impact? Now here you can understand. Starting with an impact means that your introduction should be amazing. This is something that you can start with any story, you can start with any quotation, you can start with any icebreaker activity. In my case, I started with a pictorial representation which clearly depicts the essence of today's topic. I then started my presentation straight away. There was an introductory part, and then I led my audience to step-by-step process. Okay, so all the great speakers, what they does, they have the entire content designed in the form of story. As a humans, we are very fond of listening to stories. Now, I'm not saying that you have to frame any fictional story in your presentations. You can convert your topic or your content and mold it in a way that it feels like they are listening to a story, and they will be glued to listen to you till the end, right? Now let's quickly recall what we have discussed. Initially, I have taught you what is effective presentation and why it is important. And to deliver effective presentation, it's very important that we plan, that we prepare, practice, and then present. We worked on 4 P's initially, right? Afterwards, I taught you what are the different components of a presentation. You should have good body language. You should have nice and voice modulation should be there. You should use open body language. Or what you can do, you can handle the queries effectively. This is again a very important part of presentation skills, right? Now in the openings part, you can provide some facts, you can provide some figures, you can ask a question as well, but be warm and friendly. Your audience should not feel that you're speaking in kind of hurry and you're just here for formality. You should feel that connect, you should, maintain that connect and engagement with the audience. That is very, very important, not only in the presentation, but wherever you work, wherever you go, whosoever you meet. It's very important to maintain that connection. Suppose you are somebody who's about to go in an interview. How do you present your answers? That is also related to presentation skills, right? There are a lot of things which we can develop as a skill set, which helps us to clear any interview. There are steps, there are techniques that we need to learn. Every skill is a learnable skill. This comes under the soft skills part. Whatever we are discussing in the class today, in the session today, it all comes under soft skills. Now, this is something which you can learn because all these things are learnable. You can learn how to give effective presentation. You can learn how to excel in any kind of interview, of course, by practicing, right? Now, let's go ahead. Again, we have already discussed this thing, right? So body language during presentation, you need to smile, you need to maintain the eye contact. And again, don't lock your arms, don't cross your arms, make your head straight up, do not look downwards, and your shoulders should not slouch. Now, what slouching of shoulders mean? If I sit like this with my shoulders laid down, if I sit like this, I might look somebody who's underconfident, who's not sure of what I'm speaking. But if I sit with my shoulders straight, I turned out to be somebody who's very, very confident, who's somebody knows what I'm speaking and confident about my subject knowledge. So this is what you have to follow. Always make sure your shoulders are not slouching, you're not crossing up your hands and your legs, and you are moving at your place. Here I have to sit because it's a virtual platform. But if in case you are delivering a presentation on a physical room, then you should not stick to one place only. You should utilize that complete area to move in between to create that impact or maintain that engagement with the audience. Okay, that is very, very important. I can see students, you're writing some questions in the chat box. I would love to take your questions towards the end of the session. I really don't want to break the track in between and turn up to your questions. So I'm reading all of them. I will definitely take towards the end. So all the queries that you are having, just put it right there towards the end of the session. I would definitely take it up. Okay. Now comes the inseparable part of your presentation. That is the ending part. People feel that starting is important, ending is not. But it's not true. The way you start, you need to organize your close as the same way, right? Because it may possible initially your audience was not interested, was not listening up to you. But now if you're ending and you are not reiterating, you're not summarizing your message, you will just ruin up creating that impact. No impact would be created. So make sure every time when you're delivering a presentation towards the end, summarize everything what you have said, reiterate, repeat the key points, ask for the action, and on a positive note, always try to offer the solutions towards the end. Don't end abruptly. For example, in today's presentation, every now and then, I kept on recalling what I have already shared with you people so that you can maintain that connection from that level, from that time till the end. So these are the qualities of a good speaker. If you are somebody who's delivering a presentation, you should know what are the things you will say to your audience towards the end. Okay, so ending is very important. Now comes the visual effect part. How to design your presentation. We had discussed a lot about the delivery part. We have discussed about a lot of things related to how you can speak. Now let's talk about how to create the PPTs, how to create the presentations. Okay, this is again very, very important. You all must be aware of. There is one powerful tool called presentation where we create PPTs on desktop or laptop. But there is one simple rule that we call KISS rule, which says keep it short and simple, right? So whatever you are writing on your slides, make sure it's not a bulky, your slide is not overloaded with the information, just not more than 7 words per line and not more than 6 lines per slide, 6 into 7 rule. So this is something which you can remember, which you can write it down somewhere. Whenever you create your presentation, always make sure that you are following these rules, right? It will help you to construct amazing PPTs, and the part which we have just discussed will help you to deliver it in a remarkable way. Okay. Now, why visuals are important? Visuals are important because they help to understand better about the topic. If I have added one picture related to presentation, one picture related to the topic I'm discussing, people would immediately connect to this and they will help you people to deliver it and help you to save your time as well, right? When you add visual, people immediately shift their focus from everything else and they will start looking at your screen. When there is some just sentences on your slides, they will not find it interesting to look at. Now, when I said that you have to add pictures to make them interested in your PPT, I did not mean that you can add any cartoonic pictures or anything funny which is not relevant to the topic, right? So you should always add pictures which are relevant to the topic. Okay. Now, again, some tips and techniques for effective presentation. You have to maintain a good eye contact, very important. Where you are speaking volume, the way you are speaking, you need to make sure that you are changing up your pace. Use pause in between, and just don't read your presentation. Okay, if you just read your presentation the way it's being written on the screen, it's not going to create any impact. Use short stories, ask questions, take some examples, talk about your own life, and you will be done. You will be sorted, right? So these are the certain rules that you need to keep in mind. Don't put your hands in the pocket for a longer period of time. If you're standing on stage, don't put your hands on pocket. Generally, boys have this habit of putting hands in the pocket, so don't do it. Speak with confidence, okay? And always look front the eyes of the audience. When you are speaking and there is PPT right at your back, don't just turn your back to look at the PPT and then talk. You have to stay upfront to your audience and let your screen display that topic. Okay, don't read it from that particular slide at your back. Okay, then you can discuss your objectives at the beginning of the presentation. This is what we have already discussed, right? Then why visuals are important, and one tip about the visuals is, if you are putting up any picture on your screen, make sure it's easy to read and understand. If you're putting some complicated picture, then your audience will spend a lot of time to look at the picture to understand what it is all about, and it should be easily visible from all areas of that room. Okay, so it's very important that you take care of these things. If you want to know if your audience is listening to you or not, then these are the signs. Just look at the picture. If in your audience somebody is sitting with their hands on their head, somebody is looking downwards, tapping their feet, playing with their fingers, touching their nose, rubbing their hands on the hair, whispering to the other person, then this is something, these are the signals they're not interested. Unfortunately, I can't look at you people right now, so I can't really decide by whether you are getting bored or whether you're getting interested in the topic. For that matter, let me just ask you people straight away in the chat box, what do you feel? Are you getting bored in the presentation, or you're enjoying this presentation or this session? Just type enjoying if you are enjoying this presentation. Otherwise, you have the other option as well. Okay, great. I've got some amazing responses from you people. Such a wonderful audience I have for this session today. I'll tell you, great. Thank you so much for this overwhelming response. This is something which, keeps the speaker going. So this is something which, keeps me going with delivering nothing but the best. All right, so there is one bonus tip I would like to quickly share with you people, that make sure you have finished speaking before your audience has finished listening. This is a famous proverb. And what does that mean? If you are speaking for way too long time and your audience has already started feeling bored, now it's the high time to end this presentation. Okay, so always try to conclude everything you have said before your audience start feeling bored. All right, now avoid negative and boring starts. If you are going to talk about some business topic and you initially are talking about the losses, it's not going to, captivate your audience. So you should avoid boring and negative starts. Okay, so it's a big no. Now this is all about the presentation skills, wherein we talked about lot of things. Let me quickly reiterate everything for you people. And to the ones who have joined a bit late in the session, we've talked about various skills that you need to be a good speaker, and that includes your confidence, your voice modulation, that includes your body language, how you handle queries, and how you're making an impact with your performance. And then we discussed about things, how you can prepare your presentation and create the PPT with less words. In my slides, in the entire presentation, you must have observed, I kept it very simple, subtle, professional. Few sentences, one picture whenever it is required. Nothing too bulky on the screen. It's just the blank white background and little bit of color combination. There are a lot of things which is yet to be discussed, right? What kind of colors you should put on your slides, what kind of font you should use in your presentation, what should be the combination of graphics you should use, what kind of images you should put. Lot of things that are yet to be discussed, but unfortunately due to less availability of time, we can't cover the entire things in one session. We will surely plan one more in, coming up weeks or maybe the next month, wherein we will be discussing about the next part of presentation skills, right? So let me quickly take few questions from the chat box. If you people have any questions, do write it down. All right. Quickly put your questions on the chat box. So Sahil Thakur asked how to give an eye-catching introduction of yourself, right? So this is something which is very, very important. Your elevator pitch, your introduction is something that you need to prepare, and you really can't rely on that same day that you will just deliver it on the spot. You will end up messing up things. You will end up struggling to find the right sentences for yourself. So there are ways how you can give your introduction. Always start with your name, the place from where you are, or some interesting fact about the place. Then include some relevant experiences which you want to share with your audience, right? Suppose you are somebody who is a student. So what kind of things you can attach? If you are a member of some club or you are a member of some team, you can add that in your introduction. And if it is relevant at that point of time, okay, if you're delivering a presentation in the school, then it can be a relevant one. Okay, so you have to choose what kind of audience you're going to have. Accordingly, you have to design your introduction. Okay, so Harshita asked that I have read somewhere that visuals tend to distract audience. So I'm confused on this. Kindly elaborate. Harshita, as I said, irrelevant, complicated, confusing visuals will definitely distract your audience. You should not put lots of visuals on one single slide. Use it wisely. Just add the headliners, the headers, simple, quick definition of the topic, and the relevant picture which explains the same thing. That is it. If your heading is saying something else and picture is saying something else, it would obviously be distracting. Okay, so you can add the visuals. It is not going to distract if used wisely. Okay, so you need to work on what kind of visuals you are using. Sahil Thakur asked, as you told us how to answer, how are you doing? Should I thank him for asking and ask about them too? Of course, yes. So when somebody is asking us how are we doing and we answer, we can definitely ask the next question, how about you? Okay. Kaushik Das says, if the results in a PPT are too much and are compulsory to be put, then what do you mean by results in a PPT? Please write down your question with briefing. What are you talking about? If it's something related to your result at your workplace, some data points, some stats, if that you're talking about, then of course you have to put in the PPT. But again, how you're delivering it can make it different. Okay. How to observe audience feedback? Shri Suman is asking. As I have discussed, Suman, there are a lot of ways through their body language you can observe. Either they are enjoying it or they are not enjoying it. Such kind of things you can observe. And of course, meanwhile, you can ask simple questions. You can talk to them to maintain their confidence or to maintain their engagement or connection with you. Okay. Tirsha says how to identify that audience got motivated. Tirsha, this is something that, you feel that vibe. When you ask a question and audience is, readily answering it for you, then yes, they have got motivated with the words you have said and they have understood what you were trying to say to them. Okay, so this is how you find it out, either they have got motivated or not. So I can see a lot of questions are there, and one common question is how we can catch the audience attention. This is something that everybody is working on. So content is the key, I would say. If you can notice, there are a lot of different contents on the social media available. We spend hours and hours to scroll down the social media handles, but we stick to one which gives us information. We stick to one which entertains us. We stick to the one who is credible, right? So you have to maintain these three things in yourself. You have to be credible enough, you have to win their confidence of your audience, you have to give some knowledge and value. See, this session was a value addition. I shared my value, I shared my knowledge with you people, how to maintain and create that impact while doing presentation. Likewise, you also have to provide some value to your audience so that they can be attentive to listening up to you. So this is all about the presentation skills. Now I'm going to talk about, as I said, in your interviews and in your presentation, it needs a lot of practice, and for practice you need a mentor. So here in MFL, we have a lot of different, you can say, batches. We have a lot of different courses and modules which will help you to overcome all your struggles and your issues and your challenges. If somebody says, I'm not confident what to say and what to speak in the interviews, I know how to speak in English, but I go completely blackout when it comes to my interviews. So here we are offering you with one very detail oriented and with the topmost industry oriented mentors who are ready to share their knowledge with you people, and you can improve your performance on the basis of that, right? If you are somebody who's struggling how to answer, how to frame the answers, if somebody is asking you, interviewer is asking you a question out of the box, how to immediately come up with the answer on the spot. Obviously you can't google the answer at that point of time, so you need to have that framework right there to come up with the answers. So this is what we are going to come up next. So here are the details. Steps are very, very simple. No, this is the technical and non-technical, both of the fields. And how this works, you simply have to register for the mock interview session. In your mock interview, we are going to work on every aspect, your introductions, how to ask the questions to the interviewer. It's very important. Students feel answering the questions is the only thing they have to do. But asking the right questions to the interviewer is also a skill which you need to understand. How to negotiate on salary. If they're offering you something which you don't want, you want an hike, how to negotiate with them, how to answer with a basic question. So this is something that we are going to teach you in detail along with that mock interview sessions, right? So this is something that is very, very valuable for you people. If you want more details, you can surely contact team MFL. We have the interview mock sessions both for technical and non-technical part. If there is somebody who's from the technical background, you can definitely enroll in the same and get benefited, right? Thank you so much for paying attention to what I have shared with you all. Any feedback you would like to give for today's session, feel free to write it in the chat box. I would be happy to hear from your side. This is all from my side, students. Thank you so much. It was an amazing evening with you all. Type it down. What is your feedback? Have you enjoyed it? Did you learn something new today? Do write it down in the chat box quickly. I'm eager to learn everything from your side. Thank you so much for your response, Kaushik, Divyam, Kunal, Sahil. Thanks a lot. Quickly write it down, everyone. Then we will call it off for the day. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really a lovely session. So, like before moving forward or before wrapping it up, so a couple of things, guys. Guys, I've shared the registration link regarding the technical interview, which ma'am has already talked to you about. The interviews of two types, like the technical, tech, and the non-tech. If we say the tech, that means like we are talking about, especially in the technical front. And if we say the non, that is more of a behavioral interview where like you will be like, again, you will get the real experience, or you can say this is kind of a pre-interview session, pre-placement before you are appearing for your main interview, right? So yeah, so these are the things. I've already shared the link with you. Right now I'm sharing the feedback link where you can like put down your thought and how you find the session, and is there anything regarding the same on which we can improve. Definitely feel free to like write it down. And if you have any queries regarding the registration front, if I've already registered, don't worry. Our backend team will get in touch with you. You will get the notification on regular interval. And if you're already there in the WhatsApp, that's great. Otherwise, if you're not there in the WhatsApp, don't worry. You will get a mail regarding the same. So anything else, ma'am, like before wrapping it up, like you want to give some, again, the last minute touch to the people or
Yes,
something?
yes, definitely. One last thing which I would like to talk about would be practice is something which will help you to, perfect yourself. And there is no time when you feel you are perfect and ready to land on the stage to deliver your best. So when you feel you're confident, you have, practice a lot of time, of course, delivering it in front of audience, or delivering it in front of mirror even. I can see a lot of questions still coming in. Yes, you have to practice to make your presentation and remarkable and everlasting one. So all the things that we have discussed today, make sure you implement them. And in case of any doubt, confusion, or you want one-to-one session, or you want to enroll in the mock session or the mock interviews, definitely come there, and we would love to have you all. Thank you so much. Keep exploring, keep learning. For any kind of query, do contact us, and we would be happy to help you. Thank you so much. That's all from my side. Thank you, Ayush, and the entire MFL team for giving me this opportunity to deliver this session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Goodbye, ma'am.
All right, bye bye
Uh,
everyone, take care.
ma'am. So, ma'am, like I will be there. Like, if you want, like, ma'am, you can just like, if you want, like, because I will be there for next 5 minutes in case anybody will face the issue or so. So, guys, I've already shared the link, the registration one especially, and the feedback link as well. So, please do give your feedback on the same. And yeah, so for any issues on the registration front, definitely like I've already shared the number with you, so you can pin there on the WhatsApp. So it would be better like if you can pin on the WhatsApp rather than calling the number itself.